Good morning. Today we are correcting PO47 and CO48. So PO47, we had to plot our points and then write the ordered pairs of the plotted points. So looking at our graph, 3, 2 would be up here, 0, 3 would be here, 5, 0 is here, -3, 4 goes up, -6, -2 goes down, 5, 5 goes up to here, 2, 0 stays on that x-axis, 0, 0 is right in the middle, 2, -5 goes down, -2, +5 goes up, +4, +6 goes way up here, 0, 1 is on that y-axis, 1, 0 is on the x-axis, 5, -1 is down here, and -3, -4 is down here. So remember, we have in quadrant 1, both of our ordered pairs, both parts have to be positive. In quadrant 2, that's where we have a negative x and a positive y. Quadrant 3 is when both the x and the y are negative numbers. And quadrant 4 is when we have a positive x, but our y is negative. Any questions on any of those ordered pairs? All right, let's look at the ordered pairs for each of our shapes. For our circle, we have 1, 2. For our rectangle, we have -3, 0. For the triangle, we have 4, -4. For the star, we have -2, -5. For the heart, we have +5, +6. For our lightning bolt, we have -5, +3. For our plus sign, we have 0, -1. And for the arrow, we have a +5, -1. It is important that you have those negatives where we need negatives. It is important that you do the x first and then the y. Always, always, always with an ordered pair, it's x first, then the y. Amanda, did you have a question? Okay. So if you put the y first, it will be wrong on the test. We always have to have x, then y. Just like the alphabet, it goes x, y. Right? So now we have CO48, finding the slope. Remember that slope is your vertical change, so going up or down. And then remember, we always, always, always start on the left-hand side of our graph, going to the point that we hit first. Always go from left to right. So that horizontal change will be going from left to right. Remember, if we go up on our slope, it's positive. If we're counting down before we go over, when we go down is when it's negative. So when we're at the left point, when we go up, we have a positive slope. When we go down, it's a negative slope. So here are our slopes that we have. We have 3 over 1, -3 over 4. We had 8 over 4, but we have to simplify. So your final answer must be simplified to 2 over 1. Here we have 5 over 1, -1 over 9, and -4 over 3. If you put -8 over 6, it would be wrong because you have to simplify. Any questions on how I got any of these slopes? I saw a couple of confused looks. Jimena. So the last one, we have 0, 5. So my first point is on that y-axis. Then I have 6, -3. My second point is down here. So reading left to right, I hit this point first, and I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So because I went down, it's negative, and I went down 8. Then I count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you counted wrong when you went down. You either graphed it wrong or you counted wrong. It's easy to do when you have big numbers. So I would always just double check. Any other questions? All right, let's look at our second page. Our first one, we went up 2 over 2, so we simplified it to 1 over 1. Our second one, we went up 7 over 3. Then we went down 7, so -7 over 4. On the bottom, we went down 3 over 9, so we had to simplify to -1 over 3. Our middle one was -4. We went down 4 over 9, so -4 over 9. Then we went down 5 over 5, so it's -1 over 1. Any questions on those? Jimena? So the first one, when we plot -1 up 4, +4, we come up to here. And then we had -3, +2. So we draw our line. Coming to the left, we hit this point first. So we go up 2 over 2. I can divide out a 2 out of both of them, so it's 1 over 1. Does that make sense, Amanda? Yeah, I dropped it And sometimes that happens when we get a little distracted in class. So just make sure that when it comes time for the test that you go slow and make sure you're graphing it correctly. The third one you said? So our first point is 0, -5. So that first point would be on that y-axis because our x is 0, y is -5. Then we have -4, +2. So we come up here. Was that a matter of graphing wrong or counting wrong for this one? Yeah, I swapped out the y. Okay. Yep. So we're going to want to make sure we're careful with those. Any other questions on these ones? So friends, practice test is the end of this week. So we are finishing up this unit the end of this week. So we need to make sure that we are checking to make sure that we're getting things correct, that we are graphing correctly, and we can find those slopes. I know it's been a 4-day weekend. Last week seems a long time ago, but we need to be reminding ourselves of how to graph and how to find those slopes. So we'll be taking the real test next week, Monday. So we're almost at the end of our chapter. All right, on the bottom, time for review. So we're reviewing our 2-step problems. So when we have 2 steps, remember we do SAD MERP. We do the adding or subtracting, dividing or multiplying second, and we do opposite operations. So if it's subtracting, I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So I got 8n equals 40. I was multiplying by 8, so I need to divide by 8. 40 divided by 8 is 5. For my second one, I was subtracting 8, so I need to add 8 to both sides. So I have n divided by 9 equals a positive 4. Because negative 4 plus 8 gives me a positive 4. Now, since I was dividing by 9, I need to multiply by 9. So n equals 4 times 9, which is 36. And our second one, I was subtracting 18, so I need to add 18 to both sides. So I have negative 11 times n equals 22. So since I was multiplying by negative 11, I need to divide by negative 11. 22 divided by negative 11 gives me n equals negative 2. So you have to remember your positive and negative rules when we're multiplying and dividing. So if you put just a positive 2, it would be wrong. It has to be negative. Any questions on those three? All right, let's look at our graphing the inequality. We had to solve for our n. So n is less than 11. So I do my number line with 11. It's less than, not equal to, so it's open circle. And it's less than, so I go to the left. Here it's n is greater than or equal to 12. So on my number line, I put 12. I put a closed circle because it's equal to, and I go to the right because it's greater than. And the last one, n is less than or equal to negative 7. So negative 7 on my number line, it's equal to, so it's a closed circle, to the left because it's less than. Connor, was your hand up? Oh, you're just scratching? I saw your hand. I couldn't see the whole thing, I just saw that. Any questions on that bottom row? All right, again, we are having our tests. Practice test is the end of the week, real test next week. If you have questions on how to do any of these reviews, now is the time to ask. I'm after school on Wednesday and Thursday this week. So if you want to stay after to make sure you understand some of these objectives that you might not be so sure on, stay after school Wednesday or Thursday. Okay? If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.